Hello and welcome everyone to this week's COT review. I'm Thomas from COTBASE.com. Today we're going to be analyzing the 35th Commitments of Traders Report of 2024. And as we always do, we shall start out by looking at the largest changes in commercials net positions. But before we jump to the review, just a brief reminder for those who are new to COT analysis here at COTBASE.com, you'll find a lot of educational material. Not only do we have these in written format, but we have some very useful videos as well. And of course, we are there for you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment underneath the video or send us an email to info@cotbase.com. So once again, this is the 35th Commitments of Traders Report. We are analyzing the classic COT report type. CFTC calls it the legacy COT report. It has the longest history of COT data, futures and options combined data type, and net positions, of course, when it comes to data sets. So let's get started. We're going to start off with the Canadian dollar, where we have a 29% change in commercials net positions based on a 52-week look back period. So we look at the past 52 weeks time horizon and measure this recent change over this time span. And you can see that this change size is, I'd say, the largest change in the past 1 year. 52 weeks, of course, corresponding to 1 year. So it's a bearish COT change signal coming after the Canadian dollar has been rising since the end of July. And if I move to the 5-year chart, you're going to understand why it did that. That was a beautiful COT Extreme signal that was effective and pushed the market higher. So we're not surprised to see this sudden larger than average change in traders net position, suggesting a bit of a weakness coming in the next few days. I'll stop here for a second and ask you, if you like the content, please hit the like button. And if you have not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much. And while I'm here at the Canadian dollar, I'm going to say we're going to move over and analyze this market with the use of the iCOT Intraday Indicator. This is our own unique indicator that we developed after many years of research. iCOT scores. This mimics the COT charts that we're used to. This is probably the most important part of the indicator, and it measures stresses in the near term. This is, as you can see, a 2-minute candlestick chart. We're going to add the wonderful iCOT Intraday Indicator with AfterSignal. We're going to add 2 of them. By default, it's going to be acting only on these vertical stripe signals, but we're going to change that. We're going to say, can you please show us one of them, all the long signals, and then the other one we're gonna change to any short signals, and then it will become clear that this is an indicator that's very, very useful on the short time horizons. You can see how well it pinpointed this bottom here, pinpointed the top, and the after signal catching the exact time when to enter and exit the trade. As you saw, its default settings, we did not change anything on it. As you just saw, the only thing I changed is we want to catch every signal. The red line, we can call them commercials. The signal is underneath the candle, this yellow diamond if it's a bullish signal, or above the candle when it's a bearish signal. And when we have large speculators, the green line at an extreme, which you can see over here, it changes the candlestick to a blue color, then that's a signal from the green line reaching an extreme. So again, this indicator has been developed using the methods that we're used to in classic COT analysis. If you'd like to know more about our indicators, then our indicators page is there for you. We have the Pro focusing on classic COT analysis, and iCOT, I meaning intraday, of course. And then you can, of course, learn about the different signals that the indicator produces. It's quite simple once you understand the concept of COT analysis. But if you have any questions, as I said before, we are here to help you. So just send us an email to info@cotbase.com or comment underneath the video. Back to the review, continuing our journey with the true US dollar index. I talked about the true US dollar index last week. It's our own unique way of analyzing the dollar index, where we take the individual currencies that compose the dollar basket and make a complex COT chart for that. And on this COT chart, you can see that we have a greater than average change in the true US dollar index. You can see that the magnitude of this change in traders' net positions is much greater than average. It is a bullish COT change signal. However, we have seen a bit of a rise already in the market. So I usually like to get these larger than average changes. I'd say, let's say 3 days ago would have been a little bit better. Nevertheless, it's there. And with this sudden change, we are moving closer to bullish COT extreme territory for the dollar. Moving on to euro, I see we have a lot of currencies for this review. We have a 24% change over here in commercials net positions. Not surprisingly, after witnessing the bullish change signal in the true US dollar index, we have a bearish COT change signal in the euro, which of course is the largest component of the dollar index. Moving to a 5 years chart, we can see that traders are moving away towards their bearish COT extremes. However, this 5 years chart can show us that there's plenty of space for the euro to reach even greater extremes before we reach a top. So that's something you should consider. Moving on to large speculator COT extreme analysis, we have the Japanese yen on top of our list with 182 report extreme in large speculators net positions. That is a great extreme. If we go to the entire history of the Japanese yen, then of course you can see that there is some space left to reach even greater bearish extremes. You can see the one back over here in January 2021 was a very, very successful signal. Of course, let's not forget that things are changing rapidly. Moving back to the 5 years chart, not that long ago, in June, we had this bullish COT extreme, huge signal, very successful, halting the decline of the Japanese yen. As the market is moving higher, we can see traders suddenly reacting to that and changing their net positions quite rapidly. So is this a time to start considering going back, looking at this market as if it's going to continue its downward trajectory? Well, the CO2 report definitely is moving in that direction. Has it reached that extreme? That's a big question. Moving on to the Mexican peso. Of course, we talked about the true US dollar index. We're not going to open that again. We have a 42 report extreme in large speculators, so really not an extreme to talk about. But hey, that's the third market on our list. I would definitely not put too much emphasis on it. I mean, if you look at it on a shorter time horizon, let's say a 2 years chart, you can see that it is sort of at a bullish extreme. So in relative terms, I can argue beside it if you are looking at this market. However, on the 5 years chart, it's clear that there's definitely an area for commercials, I'd say around 60,000 contracts net long level to reach, which is, you know, about 85,000 contracts away from current levels. So let's see what happens to the Mexican peso in the next couple of days and weeks. Let's have a look at live cattle. I know it's just a 28 report extreme, but hey, why not? We can see, if you look, I tend to look at it always from the commercial side first. I know a lot of you out there might say, well, you know, large speculators are the ones that are following the trend or creating the trend, I should say. However, at extremes, I'd say commercials have a greater knowledge of the market. Right now, what we see is that commercial participants in the live cattle market are still net short, which of course is not surprising as the market is priced at higher levels if we look at this 5 years chart. So they are net short. But if we move to a all-time chart, you can see that actually we have had times in the past when live cattle commercial participants were net long. That's not the case right now. So not much really. I wouldn't really conclude anything from the COT Extreme analysis on the live cattle. But of course, there's much more to do here at COTBASE.com. If you'd like to look at other markets, we do offer a wide range. I'd say everything CFTC has to offer in all the COT report types, not only the classic, but we have the disaggregated, the traders and financial futures report type, and commodity index traders as well. We created the options only data type. That's, I think, quite unique, where we took out the futures data from the futures and options and created the options only data. I think that's very useful. If you're somebody who's trading a specific market, we talked about the Japanese yen, you may just go to the Japanese yen from the market selector here and go dig into the data, which, as you can see, is quite deep. And there's a lot to do here. You can, of course, download in different format. If you're a pro member, you have the option to export the data. That's something unique. So data download is a functionality. There's so much to do here. I can go on, but I don't want to rob your precious time. If you have any questions, pop me an email to info@cotbase.com. Once again, if you like the video, hit the like button. And if you have not yet subscribed, consider subscribing so you get notified when we have a new video out. And that's all for today. Thank you for your attention. I hope to see you in my next COT review. I wish you guys a wonderful weekend. Take care. Goodbye.